Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy Make America Lit, back with another NBA 2K23 video. And in today's video, I'm just doing a commentary, man. So I don't really know what, gameplay is going to be in the background, but it's whatever, man. I just got to rant for a second, man, because, if you guys are fans of the NBA, you watch the NBA and shit like that, you know what happened the other night, man. Dame Lillard, that man, he's a bad man. He went crazy last night, bro. Dropped 71 points, and it was one hell of a performance. You know what I'm saying? I tip my hat to him. Shout out to Dame Lillard. That man is one of the craziest performances I've ever seen. And I watched Kobe's 81 live, you know what I'm saying? Not at the arena, but I watched it live as it was happening. You know what I'm saying? I watched Devin Booker's 70 live when it happened. I didn't see Donovan Mitchell's 71 that just happened this season. You know what I'm saying? But I also seen Kobe's 60. Rest in peace, Kobe. His 60-point game with his last game or whatever he played in his career before he retired in 2016. I watched that live as well too. But this is also one of those moments I got to see live and watch Dame just go crazy. Now, I didn't tune in until, like halfway through the second quarter or whatever like that. But the man still had like 41 or some shit like that in the first half. So even though I caught half of that second quarter or whatever, I still got to see, some of him going crazy. And then, of course, I watched the rest of the game in the third and the fourth quarter. And, one of the most efficient 70-point games, just ridiculous. 80% true shooting percentage or whatever, he just went crazy. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this, man, is because, and again, I have no problems with Dame. Shout out to Dame, you know what I'm saying? He went crazy. I just be seeing so many comments online talking about Dame and, this woe is me shit. Get Dame out of Portland. Dame's so loyal. Dame need to get help and all this other shit. And it's like, bro, I'm tired of seeing that shit, bro. I really am sick to my fucking stomach of seeing that shit. All right? And the reason why I'm sick to my stomach of seeing that shit is because Dame chose this, okay? He chose to drop 70 points for a lottery team. This is what Dame wants, okay? It's been 10 years now. I seen somebody say that the reason why people don't care that this is happening to Dame is because it's Portland. Nobody cares about Portland. No, that's not the reason why nobody cares, okay? The reason why nobody cares, at least people like me don't care, is because Dame chose this. He chose the money. It's been 10 fucking years. That's a decade. It's been 10 years. That means that in those 10 years, they've done pretty much nothing to build talent around Dame. In those 10 years. And guess what? Guess what happened when another franchise that's just like Portland did that? They let their superstar MVP walk because they realized they hadn't really done shit. Now, I will say Portland has done more than what Minnesota did. But nobody was mad at KG for walking when KG left Minnesota. You know why? Because KG stuck through thick and thin. Just like Dame Lillard had stuck through Portland through thick and thin. And when KG was like, I gave y'all niggas my best years. I'm 30, 31, 32. However old he was when he left Minnesota, he was already in his 30s. He was like, you know what? I gave y'all my best years. I gave y'all multiple All-Stars. I gave y'all Defensive Player of the Year. I gave y'all MVP, and I think, 2005 or 2004, something like that. I don't know, one of those years, or 2002. It wasn't 06, so it was before 05, and I think Nash won 04, 05, if I'm not mistaken. So it might have been 03 or 02, one of those years. I know Tim Duncan won. I don't know, bro. I'm old. My memory isn't the greatest, but I do know that KG got a league MVP. I think it was 05, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, the point is, he gave them his absolute best. I never heard KG, bitching. I never heard KG, yo, I want this person traded. They better give me this or I'm not coming to training camp. Nothing. No issues. No, nada. Zilch. Quiet. Same thing with Dame. I never really heard no issue. Yo, they better trade for this nigga. They better do this. They better do that. Nothing. Quiet. Zilch. Cool. When it was time, when KG said, yo, it's time, I need to go somewhere else. I'm trying to win a ring. They wiped their hands of it. They had no problems letting KG go because KG gave his best of years to Minnesota, and when it was time to go, it was time to go. Same thing with Dame. If Dame decided right now, today, yo, this is my last year in Portland, Portland will wipe their hands like, you know what? Hey, I'm not mad at you. The rest of the NBA, fans, players, nobody would be mad at Dame leaving. You know what I'm saying? But this woe is me feel bad for Dame shit when he chose this. Nah, bro. I can't do it. I can't sit here. It's sad that he's dropping 70 points for a fucking lottery team, because that's what Portland is, a lottery team. You know what I'm saying? And they looked even worse without him. Even though Fernie Simmons and Josh Hart was going crazy last year, them boys was wilding last year, don't get me wrong. And shout out to my boy Josh Hart, because I fuck with Josh Hart. I like Josh Hart. Mad they traded him to New York. As a New Yorker, I'm kind of sick that he's in the Knicks. You know, I'm a Dallas fan, and I know that Knicks organization, the Knicks are going to be Knicks, and really his talent is going to be wasted in New York. I hope he leaves New York and go to an actual team. I would love to see Josh Hart on, like, Dallas or Denver. I would love to see Josh Hart in, like, maybe Milwaukee, somewhere that could actually put his talents to use, because the Knicks ain't going to really do shit for him. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get back to the rant. You know, this woe is me shit that they trying to portray for Dame, that nigga's not loyal to the soil. You know, he's loyal to the soil to an extent, but he's loyal to the bag. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm always in favor of the NBA players, or players in general, getting to the bag. You know why? Because when an organization decides that they done with you, they discard you like trash. Look at how the Bulls did Derrick Rose when they thought, yo, Derrick Rose ain't gonna play no more. They was ready to discard him like trash. I'm surprised they haven't discarded Lonzo like that. But they're really trying to work with Lonzo to get Lonzo back and playing shit, because the Bulls looked dangerous when Lonzo and all of them was playing. But Lonzo go out with that injury. They don't got their playmaker who's distributing. They losing a really good plus defender in Lonzo. And then now you got a 33-year-old DeRozan and probably like a 30-year-old Levine going into his 30s with Levine and Vucevic. Like, the Chicago went from like being a dark horse championship contender to being like, yo, what are we doing, guys? Like, this shit is looking bad. You know, they got Caruso, they picked up Lonzo, you know, they had Vucevic. Like, the Chicago Bulls was looking dangerous. Chicago was looking like a top 4 team easily in the East. And then the Lonzo Ball injury happened, and it's like, whoa. But again, I'm getting sidetracked. My point is, again, like Chicago did to Derrick Rose, like who can I think of a good example of this? Like perfect example, like how the Oakland Raiders are doing Derek Carr right now in the NFL. That's what I mean by they just discard you like trash. Like, yo, fuck you, we don't care. Throw them to the wolves, throw them in the trash can, whatever. We can't use you, we don't want you. Discard them like trash. It doesn't matter. So you know what? I'm always in favor of the players doing whatever the fuck they want to do. However they got to do it. Get to the bag, get your money, and do what you do what's best for you. Because the organization, believe you me, the organization is going to do what's best for them. Okay? So when KD decides, yo, I want to fucking trade, I want out of here, guess what? Clap it up for KD. I'm all good with KD saying that shit, because you know what? They're going to discard him like trash when they feel like he can't perform or do what they need him to do. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Kyrie. And you know what? If Luka decides he wants to leave Dallas, I would be like, yo, cool, bro. Go compete, go do whatever, because in his 5 years in the league, they barely done anything to put talent around him. You know what I'm saying? So Dame could have left and nobody would have batted an eye. Nobody would have shitted on him. Like, he says this shit about he doesn't want to ring chase and he ain't going to no super team. But there are many places he could have went without building a super team. There's many places he could have went without ring chasing. People have this misconception that if you leave your drafting team or your team that you're signed with, that means you're ring chasing or building a super team. No, that's bullshit. It's not. It's not a super team. It's not ring chasing. Him going to the Lakers with LeBron and AD, that would have been some super team shit. Him going to Boston with Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and all of them, that would have been some super team shit. You know, him trying to find his way into Milwaukee, that would have been a nice squad. You know, Dame, Middleton, Drew, Giannis with Portis or Lopez. Like, that would have been a nice little brick starting lineup. That would have been some super team shit. But Dame finding his way to somewhere like Toronto, where he's still going to be the best player, like, and again, that's not a knock on Siakam, because Siakam has been holding Toronto down. I'm by no means trying to disrespect Toronto or Siakam, but Siakam ain't LeBron and AD, you know what I'm saying? Or either one of them, you know what I'm saying? Even though always disabled, you know, AD's always injured, always disabled, you know what I'm saying? But he's not, you know, see, even then, AD's better than Siakam, you know what I'm saying? You look at Milwaukee, even then, Giannis is better than Siakam, you know what I'm saying? If Dame would have went to the Clippers, you know, even playing part-time, Kawhi is still better than Siakam. Don't get it twisted, you know what I'm saying? But, and again, I'm not trying to disrespect Siakam. I'm just saying that if Dame would have went to Toronto, nobody would have said he was ring chasing. Nobody would have said he was building a super team. If Dame had found his way to, let's say, OKC or some shit, right? He still would be the best player on that OKC team. I mean, maybe for some people this season, it might be debatable, but I think you look at the performances that Dame has had, he's not dropping 71 every game, but you see how he's playing. I think some people earlier in the season would have tried to argue that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is better than Dame. If they were on the same team, that Shai would be the best player. But I think right now it's obvious that Dame would still be the best player on that OKC team. But even if he went to OKC, that still wouldn't have been ring chasing. It still wouldn't have been a super team. So I just hate this narrative that, you know, if he leaves Portland, it's either the ring chase or to build a super team. He could have went to San Antonio. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of places he could have went and competed for a ring. Now, obviously not San Antonio now because they got rid of DeJounte Murray and shit like that. Obviously not now. But I'm saying there were, in his career, by year 7, year 8, it was pretty clear that they weren't going to do anything for him. You know what I'm saying? He's had ample enough time to, you know, navigate through the situation, to kind of analyze the situation. And he could have left, you know? And it's like, yo, he chose, you know why he stayed? Because Portland could have paid him the most money. They gave him the Supermax. That's why he stayed. Okay? Period, point blank. He didn't stay for any other reason other than he wanted the Supermax. Now, I do believe that loyalty played the part. Don't get me wrong. I think loyalty played the part. I think LeBron and other people leaving and, you know, play with their friends and shit like that played the part. And I think that he tried to use that as an excuse of like, nah, I'm loyal to the soil. I ain't joining no fucking super team. That's cool. I can respect that you want to compete and you don't want to be buddy and team up with every single body in the fucking league or whatever and turn it into an all-star game. That's cool. I can respect that. But let's not pretend like it's just that. Like, nah, that also came with a 4-year, damn near $200 million contract. It's the same reason why Bradley Beal stayed in Washington. Bradley Beal could be wherever he want to be right now, competing for a championship. But Bradley Beal was like, yo, you know what? Let me get that Supermax. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But call a spade a fucking spade, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't fucking spit on me and tell me it's fucking raining, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't cap. You wanted the bread, you wanted the bag, and there's nothing wrong with wanting the bag, bro. You know what I'm saying? If I was in the NBA and niggas was giving me a fucking 10-day contract for $2 million or $1 million or some shit, I would jump at that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna cap. I would get the bag too. I'm not mad at that. But I just hate this narrative that it's like, oh man, we should feel bad for Dame because Dame chose to get paid $200 million to stay on a shit team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not excusing the Blazers organization by any means. By any means. Portland is the reason why the house is on fire and burning down. 1,000%. But I can't blame Portland because Dame chose to run back inside the burning building to get the money that's inside the burning building. Okay? Because that's what happened. Portland set the building on fire. The building is burning down. And guess what? Dame has decided, I'm going to run back because there's money in there. They got $200 million in that building. I'm running back in that burning bitch to get that money. That's what it is. And it's crazy because nobody shits on Bradley Beal for staying for the money. Nobody shits on Dame for staying for the money. But y'all slaughtered Melo. They slaughtered Melo for choosing the money. And Melo chose the money twice. I'm pretty sure Dame chose the money twice too. Because rookie contracts back then was like, what, 3 years, 4 years? So he's been in the league, what, his 10th year? So his rookie contract was up. He probably extended once. And then the third contract, that's when he signed the Supermax. So he probably chose it. But, I mean, off the rookie contract, I can't really blame him because those 4 years, like the first 2 years, it's like, yo, you drafted me. I'm a top draft pick. Growing pains, you know, we're not going to win a championship in our first 2 years, 3 years. You're still building a roster. So that first contract, I can let slide. After the end of that second contract, he knew what it was with Portland, and he still stuck around, you know. And at that point, he's like 6, 7 years into the league, 8 years into the league, and people was talking about how much Dame needs help and shit like that. And then he still chose the money for that Supermax. That's what I'm saying. Like, now we're year 10 years in, and he kind of knows what it is, and he's still staying there. It's about the money. It can't be about the loyalty, because the organization hasn't shown their loyalty to you. So it has to be the money. But moving on, right? Like I said, Melo chose the money. We all know the story about 2010 free agency and how Wade and LeBron chose shorter contracts. They left money on the table because they were like, the plan was in 2010 we all going to link up. It was supposed to be originally LeBron, Melo, and Wade in Miami or wherever, and they were all three of them. They knew that the cap was going to jump and shit like that. It was going to be enough money to go around. They all three were supposed to play. The big three was originally supposed to be, well, that's not the original big three, because the original big three is Ray Allen, you know, Ray Allen, Pearson, KG. But the original big three was supposed to be LeBron, Melo, and D Wade. We already know that, right? Cool, we know that story. Melo chose the money. Melo didn't want to leave money on the table as a young star, and I don't really blame him for that. I get it. You're young, and, you know, anything can happen. You could roll your fucking ankle. You could break your leg. You could tear everything in your fucking knee or something like that. Like, anything can happen when you're under the age of 30 that can pretty much change the trajectory of your career. Maybe Miami don't want to give you that money, or wherever they were going to sign don't want to give you that money now, and now you got to find a way to somehow scrape up, you know, 70 to 80 million that you just left on the table for not choosing that shorter deal. So, you know, Melo chose the longer deal in Denver. So when it was time for 2010, he was still signed under contract, and LeBron, Wade, and Bosh was free to go wherever they wanted, so they ended up linking with Bosh. So Bosh went, and history's made, you know, 4 finals in a row, back-to-back championships, whatever, you know. Melo forces his way out of Denver. He goes to New York. 2013 comes up, and now Melo again has the option to choose to play for a contender, because now he has the Chicago Bulls offering him a contract. He has the San Antonio Spurs offering him a contract. And he also has my Dallas Mavericks offering him a contract. And at the time, all of those teams were semi-contenders, if not contenders. Because I'm pretty sure San Antonio went on to win 2014 championship. So San Antonio was probably his best bet. The Bulls were still contending, even though they were pretty much weakened after, you know, the Derrick Rose injury. But they were still a competitive team in the East, because, you know, in the East, it wasn't really nobody. You know, you had Boston, you had Miami, and then you had, like, the Bulls. Yeah, I want to say, like, no, that was pretty much it. I'm trying to think of who else. Because Washington still had John Wall and those guys at the time, but I don't think Washington was really competing like that. I want to say Brooklyn, but I'm pretty sure Brooklyn wasn't really competing like that either. Maybe Toronto. Maybe Toronto was competing as well at the time. And then, you know, you had New York with Melo and those guys, J.R. Smith and shit. So, you know, it really, the East pretty much was just Boston and Miami. That was pretty much it. You know, with some middle-tier teams sprinkled in that really wasn't going to win the championship. Even if they made it out of the East, they was going to get cooked by whoever was in the West. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, he had a chance to, and his best bet was to go to San Antonio because even if he went to Chicago, he still would have had to face Miami in the playoffs. And, you know, let's be real, most likely he was going to lose against Wade, LeBron, and fucking Chris Bosh, you know what I'm saying? So his best bet was to go to the West, play for San Antonio, who was a top contender in the West. He could have came to Dallas and played with Dirk, but Dirk, again, was, like, starting to leave his prime. Dirk was still putting up, like, 22, 23 a game and stuff like that, but Dirk wasn't, like, prime 28-year-old Dirk. I mean, he still just came off a championship not just 4 years ago, but, you know, Dirk was still able to put up, you know, Dirk was still going to be able to be like the second best player on an NBA championship team at that point. Because he was like 30, 32, 33 years old or whatever. But I say all of that to say that Melo chose the money again because New York had his birthright. New York was the team that would be able to pay him the most money. He took the money, didn't get a ring, and history again was once again made or whatever. Whoever won the championship 2014, I think it was the San Antonio Spurs. Miami breaks up. LeBron goes back to Cleveland, you know, yada, yada, yada. But he had two opportunities, two different chances to play for a contender, and he chose the money both times. And guess what? People slaughtered Melo for the shit he said about, you know, seeing his contemporaries playing in the playoffs and playing for rings, and he got to sit at home and watch it and shit like that. They slaughtered Melo for that shit. And I say all of that to say that y'all don't keep that same energy for Dame, bro. Dame could have went other places. He chose to stay in Portland. This is what Dame wanted. And yet I hear this woe is me shit, bro. Y'all gotta stop, bro. Y'all got to stop. And I keep the same energy with even my players. I watched it happen. I watched Dallas not put no talent around Dirk after winning in 2011. As a matter of fact, I watched them break up that championship team and let people walk and trade people away. I watched them destroy that 2011 team, which even if you want to say it was lightning in a bottle, you know, just a freak run that probably wouldn't have happened again, you gotta at least run it back just to see. Like, what would have cost you to run that team championship team back one more year just to see? Maybe this team had something. Maybe this roster could have worked again. But they didn't. Mark Cuban just said, fuck it, let everybody walk, traded everybody away and shit like that. And, you know, we were back to being a shit team again, right? Cool. They did nothing to put talent around Dirk after 2011. 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. I watched Dirk take pay cut after pay cut after pay cut for them to sign a fucking washed DeAndre Jordan. For them to sign fucking Monta Ellis. To sign a Wesley Matthews who just came off a fucking Achilles injury. That probably could barely run up and down the court. You know? And it's like, this is what this man was taking pay cuts for? Yo, Dirk could have been getting the bag that whole time. And I know Dallas is holding him down now after his career. Like, yo, we're going to get you back that money that you took those pay cuts on. Just like I'm sure San Antonio is holding down Tim Duncan for, you know, taking those pay cuts that he did to keep those teams together so they could win. But if Dame truly wanted to be loyal, if Dame truly wanted to help his team, he would help his team by actually taking a pay cut so that they could put talent around him. Now, again, like I said, I can understand why he may not want to do that because he's like, well, y'all had 10 years to put talent around me and y'all didn't do shit, so why would I take less money? That's a totally good argument as well, too. But I'm saying initially, you would at least have to take that pay cut first to find out, hey, they not about to put shit around you, playboy. Go for the money. But he didn't even do that. It was just straight for the money. Okay? Same thing with Udonis Haslem in Miami. He took that pay cut so they could keep those guys, so they could keep competing for championships from like 2010 to 2014. And guess what? He's still on the roster at like 85 years old, still getting paid millions of dollars to basically be a coach or a staff member. Why? Because they know that they owe him money for taking those pay cuts from 2010 to 2014. He took those pay cuts to keep that championship team together. You know what I'm saying? That's being loyal to the soil, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's your team being loyal to you. Now, people can, like I said, people can argue that Portland hasn't been loyal to Dame. They hasn't held Dame down. And I could totally understand that. Maybe that's the reason why he don't want to take the pay cut. But I feel like you have to at least take the pay cut before you say, you know what, I'm going for the bag. Fuck a pay cut. You know what I'm saying? You got to at least give them the chance of taking less money one time and being like, all right, I left $60 million on the table. Show me what you're going to do with that $60 million. I left $30 million this year for you. Show me what you're going to do with that $30 million. And if you don't put nobody around me for that $30 million, guess what? Or that $15 million, $20 million, however much, guess what? Next time around, I'm asking for max money, and if I don't get it, I'm out this bitch. That's what Dame should have did. You know what I'm saying? But really what Dame should have did was just leave Portland, because it's obvious they ain't about to build around him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last time I've seen Portland actually try to field the team was when they had, like, Greg Oden and Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge, and those guys. You know, Wesley Matthews and all of those guys. That was like probably like the last time they actually tried to, you know, field a competitive team. And that's not a knock on Portland, because Portland got some good guys. They just don't have depth. You know what I'm saying? They got a Fernie Simmons. They got, you know, Josh Hart, or had Josh Hart. They got Nurkic, you know, which if he could stay healthy, you know, he's a solid big, you know, but he's always fucking injured. Every time I turn around, he's hurt. You know, who else? They got Jeremy Grant now, who's, you know, decent. He's a solid starter or whatever. They got decent players, bro. It's just that they don't have no depth, man. Like, Dame can't play 48 minutes a game. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the end of this rant, man. I'm just tired of people trying to spin this woe is me narrative for Dame, bro. Like, yeah, bro, they haven't helped. They haven't done shit. But it's like, bro, he could have left. And I promise you right now, if Dame said tomorrow or today, February 27, 2023, if Dame said today, hey, look, fuck Portland, get me out of here. This is my last year playing here. I want out. Nobody would harbor any ill will or hate for him. Nobody would call him team jumping. Nobody would call him a ring chaser or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because he gave his best years. He gave 10 years to Portland. They didn't do shit with it. You know, you got to wipe your hands of it. The same way KG wiped his hands of it and said, yo, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? They can't argue with you when you give them your entire prime like that. And now it's like, yo, I'm out of here, you know? Same thing with Luka. If Luka decides at the end of this contract, he'll probably be in like, what, his 8th year? If Luka decides that at the end of this contract, yo, I'm out of Dallas, I wouldn't be mad, because out of 8 years, they've done, excuse me, out of 8 years, or he's going into his 6 years, his 6th year, they've only tried to put talent around him twice. You know, they did the KP trade. They didn't really get a chance to see how well that worked, because KP was injured for most of it. He ended up only playing like 130 games out of like maybe 245 games for us. And out of those 130 games, they only played 110 together, him and Luka. Then he got traded. And now the Kyrie trade, which is only going to be half a season if Kyrie doesn't re-sign with us. So, I mean, what have they really done to put talent around Luka? They haven't really done anything. So if Luka decides to leave Dallas, even though I'm a Dallas fan, I can't even be mad at that shit. Because it's like, I watched y'all waste Dirk's prime. I watched y'all put bullshit team after bullshit team after bullshit team around Dirk. I wouldn't even be mad. And that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be mad at Dame leaving. Dame should leave, bro. Like, you dropping 71 points and 70 points and 60 points. He's dropping 71 points and 60 points for a fucking lottery team just to be 13 for 12th in the West. Like, what are we doing here, bro? But yeah, man, matter of fact, I'm not even about to close this video out. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about the whole Dame situation, bro. I really want to hear other people's comments on it, bro. Because, like, I've seen so many people give this narrative that we should be crying for Dame and shit. And it's like, personally, I feel like, no, I shouldn't be crying for Dame. Dame chose this. This is what Dame want. So, let me know in the comments what you think about the whole Dame situation with Portland, man. It's been your boy, Make America Lit. I'm out, guys. Peace.